Oh, yeah! You know what time it is. That's right, it's time for the Eddie and Webby Podcast! Yo, I'ma bust out some theme song action for you. Check it out. The Eddie and Webby Show is the place to be. They're talking about beer and pickleball and technology. So if you didn't know, now you know. 'Cause it's time for the Eddie and Webby Show.
On today's episode, Eddie and Webby jump the shark. This is the Eddie and Webby Podcast.
I score 100. Bop it. Twist it. Pull it. Pull it. Twist it. Yow!
Oh, hey, how's it going? This is Webby, not Eddie.
And I'm Eddie, and this is our 49th podcast.
Oh, yeah, episode number 49. And I can't believe it, Eddie. We're one away from the big 5-0. How is that possible?
That's absolutely insane. I know we keep mentioning it, but honestly, I never thought we were going to get past like 11. I thought we were going to get to 11 and be like, screw this. I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, I definitely did not think we were going past 10. Like, I thought, like, 10, we'd be lucky if we got to 10. And here we are, number 49. Craziness.
Yes, it's insane, but I'm super happy. I'm super excited. We have a great guest tonight, and we're live. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube's, www.youtubes.com. And we're also live on Twitch as well for the one person that cares.
Twitch? What? Twitch?
Said by every pickleball player ever.
Right.
Yes. This show's meant to
I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I'm here live. Sorry to cut you off. I'm just so excited because I'm back live. I wasn't with you live last week. I was pre-recorded last week, but I'm back live, baby.
That's right. You're live. It's way better to do with you. Doing it by myself, not nearly as fun. So glad you're back. Glad we're live. I'm glad we have an amazing guest. I'm glad that that this is an interactive show, which means you guys should definitely be posting some comments. You guys should definitely be asking questions of our guest whenever we introduce her here in a little bit. And definitely do all of those things because it's going to be a fun show.
Very fun. It's going to be super fun. I can't wait to get started. So why don't we get things started?
Okay. Well, before we do that, though, Webby, what's going on in Twitter?
Oh, man. Twitter has been blowing up like crazy lately. Can't even keep track of all the tweets we get every single second of every single day. But let me see what's coming up live on the Twitter sphere here. Here is a message from Dink Skywalker. Dink says, Podcast 48 being live at the location of the Johnny Pickleball Show was very cool. Having your podcasts at different locations lately has been a lot of fun. Nice.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely having them on location, it adds an element of complexity, but I think it's fun. I think it mixes it up a little bit, which is a good time for sure. Thanks, Dink.
Yeah, very nice comment. Thank you for that. Here's one from Peter Poacher. Wow, you guys must be totally obsessed with Johnny Pickleball or something to have him on episode 46 and episode 48.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good guy. He's a good player, and he's doing a lot for the game. So, you know.
Yeah, he's a very cool guy. I have no problems having him on like 46 and 48 just because they were close to each other. What's the big deal, Peter Poacher?
Yeah, Pete. Jeez.
All right, let's do one more comment here on Twitter. Here's one from Rudy Poo Candy Ash. They say, Eddie should definitely do more podcasts without Webby. They are much more enjoyable. Ouch.
Oh.
It's not very nice, Rudy.
Yeah, I disagree, Rudy. I think they're much better with both Eddie and Webby. That's why it's called the Eddie and Webby Show.
Yeah, Rudy, it's the Eddie and Webby Show, not just the Eddie Show. So come on.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Loser.
Thanks for the comments there on the Twitter sphere, everybody. Keep them coming.
That's right. we are about to introduce our first guest here, or maybe our only guest here for tonight. But I want to remind you guys that after the show, we're going to take the show down, but don't go anywhere because we're bringing it right back up a few seconds later for another episode of Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby, your favorite post-podcast podcast. And I'm excited about it. What do you think about that, Webby?
Yeah, I love that show. I love doing it. It's super fun. And I keep hearing that like it's everybody's favorite podcast about pickleball that comes on late at night on Thursday evenings that anybody has ever seen before.
That's right. Yes.
It's like at least in the top 5. It's at least in the top 5 of that genre.
Yeah, I think it definitely it better be. It's my favorite pickleball podcast, but we'll let you guys decide if it's yours. So
yes,
stick around for that. But without further ado, I want to be able to introduce our guest for the evening. Our guest tonight is a pickleball player. She's one of the best pickleball commentators, a pickleball live streamer, and now alongside her boyfriend, Kyle Selinko, has a new pickleball show. Please welcome Lauren McLaughlin. What's going on, Lauren?
Let me just take a quick sip of my beverage here.
Wait a second.
Yeah,
what is that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
What's that?
Did you guys recognize this? Is this you guys? Is this you?
Wait a second. I think
you
that
guys
is.
are here?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's so weird.
Very nice.
What?
Yeah.
What a coincidence.
What a coincidence, huh? You must have gotten that at the 2019 Beer City Open, huh?
I sure did. More than one of them because I'm a koozie crazy person. So I was like, I'll take all the colors. Yes, please. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Awesome to be here. Super excited.
Yeah, we're super excited to have you. We have a lot of great stuff that we're going to be talking about here this evening. Let's start with where are you at right now? Because I think you're kind of at a pretty important pickleball event going on, huh?
So yeah, I'm currently technically unemployed. So I have a lot of free time on my hands.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, is there like a really big pickleball tournament coming up in the very near future? And do I have the capacity to drive 20 hours just because I feel like it across the country to attend it in live stream? Yeah, there was. So I am in Brigham City, Utah, baby, at the Tournament of Champions.
Okay.
And
Nice.
It's awesome. We just finished day 2 here. Yesterday was the men's singles. We had women's doubles today. So I was live streaming all day yesterday and today on my Live with Lauren page, and definitely got some awesome matches yesterday and today. And I'm going to be rocking the mixed doubles tomorrow and men's on Saturday. So I'm super excited to be here. It's been awesome so far.
Yeah, this tournament seems like it's pretty solid. Got a chance to watch some of your live streams earlier today as well. Great job as always.
Yes, I saw you.
Yes.
Thank you.
I thoroughly enjoy watching your live streams, not only because I think that it's great video quality. You do a great job framing and making sure that's all good, but nobody tops your commentary. You have the best commentary in the game, in my opinion.
That is a huge compliment coming from you guys, so I really appreciate that. I definitely try to bring my own flair to the commentating game right now, so I'm definitely having a lot of fun with it. And we had some really fun ones today. One of my favorite, DJ Howard and Morgan Evans actually joined me for one of the matches. It was Sarah Ansbury and Regina Franco playing Simone Jardim and Corinne Carr, and that was just super, super fun. Those guys were awesome. I was just having a great time with those guys, and frankly, I think the three of us could be the next commentary powerhouse team in the pickleball game. So I'm just putting that out there.
All right. I like it. That's solid. Yeah, it's honestly like it's you definitely bring a fun element to it. Not only do you cover things very technically, but you also add a little bit of flair, I guess is the right term. I don't even know how to describe it, but
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Flair seems like it's appropriate. I'll allow it.
That's so cool. So, how did you get into, let's start with pickleball in general. Like, how did you get into pickleball? Why don't we start with that question?
Oh, pickleball. So, who's cracking open a cold one? I hear
that's
you.
Me. I'm on my my hard seltzer kick still, and I'm pouring a Henry's strawberry kiwi flavored right now. Yeah.
I actually just cracked something open myself. I couldn't wait. I already cracked something open.
Oh yeah. What did you crack there? Why don't we talk about that real quick?
What you got, Webby?
All right. So this is something I've never tried before. I'm trying something new tonight, and this is from New Holland Brewing, and it is Sour Ink Concord Grape Goza.
Wow, that sounds real complicated.
It's
But how does it taste?
I took a few sips. Let me take one more sip so I can give you my good, accurate first impression here.
Yes, please. We are waiting on the edge of our seats.
There's one more thing I got to do to be able to really get it into the back of my palate.
Yep. One more. Take your time.
I would say this is pretty tasty. It's very refreshing. This would be a good beer to drink on a nice hot day, and it's very light and refreshing and tasty. And then you can get there's like a hint of the grape flavoring to it. It's got just a nice bit of sourness to it because it's a goza, which is a little bit of a sour type of beer, and yeah, I'm enjoying it.
I'm gonna have to interrupt you there, Webby. Did I see a little cat's tail walk behind you there just a second ago?
You most likely did. Yeah. There's
a little kitty
cat right over there. Yep.
I was like, excuse me, is there a kitty back there? I'm gonna need to bring that kitty on camera. Can we introduce the kitty? Where's the kitty?
If she gets close enough, I will. Oh wait, here she comes. Come here. Come here, Chippy.
Come here, kitty.
Chip.
All right, this is Zelda. Yay! Say hello to the people, Zelda. You haven't been on camera in quite a while. Why don't you say hello to everybody?
Little kitties. I love a little kitty. I miss my kitty at home. Oh.
What is your cat?
Yay, name? Kitties. My cat's name is Casey. The letters KC, it stands for killer cat, because when we first got her, she just liked to jump out and attack everybody all the time. And so it seemed appropriate.
That's cool. I like
nice.
I like it.
So, Lauren, before you get into what you were about to talk about, I do want to mention a couple of Facebook comments, because we've already got a couple of great ones coming in. The first one we have
Scott
here.
Golden's commenting up a storm over there.
He is. I'll get a couple of those in. But the first comment I want to read comes from Kate, and she says, "Isn't she adorable?"
Mama.
Moms can say that. So I take it that's your mom.
Hi, mommy.
And then here we go with Scott Golden. He says, "Live with Lauren. She is number one in all of our hearts." And he also said, "I mentored Lauren in the early days before she was the best commentator on the planet. I just want to go on record with this."
You know what? Props to Scott Golden. He definitely unlocked my newfound love of live streaming, because it was actually at the pro exhibition that happened before the US Open this year. Scott Golden was doing all the commentating for that event, and I got to be there and kind of moseyed my way on to guest commentating with him a couple times, and I was just like, hey, this is pretty cool. I like this. This is fun. Got some good feedback, and so yeah, I feel like I can appropriately credit Scott Golden for my rise in the live streaming game. So shout out to the Golden Boy.
All right, there you go, Scott. I'm sure it's going to go right to his head.
Where else would it go? Let's be honest.
No, we all love Scott. Scott's awesome. He's a great ambassador for the sport.
He is the best. He just got his own signature Golden Axe paddle, man.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You guys posted it on your page.
Oh, that's right. We did. I almost forgot about that. No, we actually have a lot to talk about in regards to that topic, and we're going to get to that a little bit later.
Awesome.
So everybody's going to have to tune in to hear what we have to say about that. So
perfect.
Yes. Stay tuned.
I need to get back to my my early days of pickleball?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
let's talk about that. How did
All
you
right.
get
I'm
into
sorry.
pickleball?
We got distracted by the cat and the beer and everything else. So I suppose, like a lot of people, um, my parents actually were big into pickleball. They are snowbirds down in the Southwest Florida area near Naples, which of course everyone now knows is the pickleball mecca, along with probably Arizona, I guess. But all those snowbirds rocking the pickleball. My parents pretty much got it. I said maybe like 6 years ago, they started really getting into it. We played a lot of tennis as a family. My dad played tennis in college, and we used to play just as a family for fun. And then, of course, this whole pickleball thing swept, uh, I'll say, the older demographic first.
Yep.
And my parents were like really big into it, and I was just like, what is this pickleball thing? Like, don't need, I'm like, no, I don't need to be involved with any of that. This is stupid, whatever. So I was just like not having it. I don't know why. Like, I just feel like I was probably just being stupid. I literally couldn't tell you why I had a problem with it or didn't want to play, but I was just like, old people sport or something probably. And Shannon, I love you. Sorry, saw that comment. Um, yeah, so it took like a good solid couple years before, and then my brother picked it up too. He started playing before I did, and I was just like the last family holdout for pickleball. And
Were they like
finally, we were
badgering you to like
down.
over and over again to
I
start
mean,
playing?
not really, but like they were super into it, so they just wanted to play a lot. So if we went down to Florida or we were home in Michigan for the summer, like they were going to play pickleball. And I'm just like, like why? And so probably after, I think we were down in Florida, probably over a holiday maybe, and I finally was like, fine, I'll play. And then I of course had to like swallow my pride and be like, all right, this is pretty fun, I guess. I will enjoy this along with the rest of my family. And that was just, I mean, like, I feel like that's every pickleball player's story out there. They just sort of were like, what is this thing? And then they, picked up a paddle, started playing, and were just hooked. And it's super fun. It's super social. It's just really a good exercise. And I just really enjoy mostly playing rec. I don't play a ton of tournaments, but I do really enjoy just playing rec to, be outside, be active, get around. So I guess that's how I got into it. My family wore me down.
Okay.
And now I'm just out there grinding in the pickleball world, which of course my boyfriend Kyle is like, he literally just texted me today and was like, can you believe how basically just over a year ago you were sort of like, pickleball, it's fun, I guess. And now I'm just like all over that pickleball life, trying to like do my thing. He's like, I can't believe this.
Yeah. That's what happens though. You
And I
get
was
hooked.
like, fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
That's cool. So you're saying your family had a place down here by me in Naples. When you would come down, where would you play down here?
Well, so they are in a community called Pelican Sound in Estero, Florida, which is kind of right between Naples and Fort Myers. And they didn't have any permanent courts at that time, so people were putting up, literally, I remember their community, people had temporary nets in parking lots with like chalk lines.
Wow.
And so we would just go like rock that out, and eventually they put lines on a basketball court that they already had, and which is hilarious because now we were just down and they just finished this crazy new expansion that they did at their community with like, how many courts? I want to say maybe 16 dedicated pickleball courts with like this crazy shade structure in the middle, all these tables, brand new tennis courts, all this stuff, because in the last, 4 years, it's absolutely exploded and everybody's transitioning from tennis over to pickleball. They're changing tennis courts into pickleball courts. everyone's building new facilities. So now they have these gorgeous facilities, but I can be like, yes, I remember the days that I played pickleball in a parking lot with your chalk lines.
We used to have to walk uphill both ways with that chalk to get
exactly
to the courts
in the snow.
In the snow, yep.
Yep.
Well, that's pretty funny. So
Yeah.
and where did you?
It's come a long ways.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's blowing up like crazy. So where did you grow up at then?
So I'm from Michigan originally. Grew up in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and
Go Broncos.
Yes, Western Michigan. Did not go to Western, but
yeah, I
KZoo.
did. Mm-hmm.
You went to Western?
Mm-hmm.
Did we have this conversation in Beer City?
We might have, but yeah.
I feel like it's not ring a bell, and that's fantastic.
I majored in beer drinking there, so I didn't end up getting my degree from there. I got my degree from Eastern. Okay, that's cool. I had a really good time.
Well,
there.
I think you're probably just like a couple years older than me, so there's a good chance you were in college in Kalamazoo while I was there. So we might have like walked by each other.
You never know.
Like there's a good chance. So I appreciate that.
Right.
Yeah, so grew up in Kalamazoo. I went to a really small private college in a cornfield in Indiana, literally. And my friend Shenandoah, who commented earlier, I saw put up there, she was one of my really good college friends. She's down in Chapel Hill, North Carolina right now. But after that, ran out to LA for a few years to be a ridiculous 20-something-year-old. Came back to Michigan for a couple years, and then I was over in Chicago for the last 9, which has been awesome. If anyone would like to buy a condo in Chicago, I have one that's for sale that's pretty fantastic, so I'm just putting that out there. And I just recently went up to the Milwaukee area with the Boo.
All right.
So that is where I am now.
Let's talk about the Boo a little bit.
The Boo.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Boo.
I do love the Boo. Who's not even watching because he's playing pickleball right now, people.
I know.
I mean, this is what all of us in pickleball relationships are like, we're competing with pickleball.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much always competing with pickleball. How did you, well, first of all, your boyfriend is Kyle Salenko, right?
He is indeed, yes.
Okay. How did you guys meet?
Shockingly, through pickleball.
Oh, weird.
That is so weird. He likes to tell a really fantastic story about how we first met at Beer City in 2018, last year, so a year ago. And then the week after that was the Pickleball Fever in the Zoo Kalamazoo tournament. And we just sort of briefly chatted at Beer City. Wasn't anything at that point. And then he likes to say the next week I was chasing him all over the Kalamazoo tournament. So that's a really fun story that he likes to tell everybody.
All right.
I'm gonna actually say it's like half true, but he definitely likes to over dramatize how desperately apparently I was acting for his attention. So, I'll allow it. I'll give it to him. He can say what he wants. So yeah, we kind of just started talking after that, and we took about a month for us to be able to hang out and get together. And then that was just over a year ago.
All right.
So
you were still living in Chicago, and he was up in Milwaukee.
In Milwaukee.
Is that right? Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. So we were doing the short distance thing, I guess. Could have been worse. But yep, I just recently, a couple months ago, sort of permanently went up to the Milwaukee area. So that is what's the haps now. Do
you have a good Wisconsin accent that you can?
No, I don't even have. So the Midwest accents are really funny to me because being from Michigan, I definitely had a Michigan accent, which probably some people can still hear a little bit. But I remember when I went to LA after college, everyone was just, where are you from? Why are you saying that word like that? It's crazy. And I like to say the Michigan accent is a little bit of like a Canadian Minnesota accent that's kind of mixed in with it.
right.
which is what makes up the Michigan accent. But like I guess I know there's a Chicago accent. I was talking to someone about that today, but I don't really hear it. I couldn't tell you what it is, and I honestly don't. I didn't know Wisconsin people had an accent,
Yeah.
so that's news to me. What does it
Mm.
sound like, Eddie?
I don't know. That's what I was trying to figure
Oh,
out. Yeah, because I mean, I always think of oh God. Well, Chicago accent, right? That's like the Bears, right? Isn't that
that's
based off of
yeah,
that?
an
Yeah.
exaggerated version, I would say.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say. I mean, the Midwest one's like I think Minnesota is the big one,
Minnesota,
but in
right?
Minnesota.
Yeah.
But I think in Michigan we say like milk, ma'am. It's got like that kind of a
Yeah.
sound to it, which I think has faded over the years as I haven't been in Michigan for a while permanently. But I enjoyed my Michigan accent. It was
Yeah.
fun.
Well, this is Midwest Accents with Lauren McLaughlin. Welcome everybody to this new show that we
Yes.
created
Thank you.
here. Yeah.
Welcome, everyone.
I'm putting together a curriculum for this class as we speak.
That's great. Well, next time I see you, I want to make sure we have a nice Milwaukee accent coming through. How's that sound?
Okay, deal.
Cool.
I am going to work real hard on figuring out what that is.
All right. Cool. All right. So when you were in Chicago, you said you're currently unemployed. Like what were you doing in Chicago?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So Chicago, I moved over there kind of as I'm not really doing anything with my life in Michigan anymore. Didn't really have any friends there anymore. Just kind of ran out of stuff to do, I guess. So I just needed a change, something different. And Chicago, of course, amazing big city right around the lake from Michigan. So still pretty close. My mom basically begged me to move to Chicago for years because she was like, I can come visit you then and we can go shopping and see the big city. So I had two really good friends at the time that lived in the Chicago area. And I was like, hey, like I'm gonna do anything, like let's do Chicago. So rolled over there, didn't even have a job when I moved over. Got a job in downtown Chicago at an investment bank, which was horrible. Hated it after like 6 months, but I needed a job type of a job.
Right.
So then after being there a little while, I ended up getting a job with a really small, wealthy family in Chicago, their sort of investment office slash family office, working for the CEO and a couple of the partners, office manager type stuff. Had my hands in a lot of different pots there, but I was there for 5 years and it was awesome. Had a really great time, got to do a lot of stuff. And then we parted ways in March. So now, excuse me, frog in my throat. Just on to the next thing now. So we're just kind of doing this whole live streaming, commentating thing, kind of seeing what's out there in pickleball land. And it's been fun, having a good time.
So what made you want to get into live streaming and doing commentary for pickleball matches? Because I mean, that's not usually like people usually don't wake up in the morning like, you know what I want to do today? I want to get my phone out and I want to stream a match and I want to do commentary for it, right? So what got you there?
Fair enough, Eddie. Fair enough. Well, I mean, honestly, I dabbled a little bit in college with being a communications major. I had like a little radio show that I did in college. I interned in high school at our local radio station. And just, I don't know, there was something about just like being on the air, being able to talk and just kind of put yourself out there that I really liked. And I think that's probably why I moved out to LA for a couple of years to try to do like the acting thing, which I still really enjoy doing, and got a couple awesome opportunities while I was out there. So I think part of it is like a deep-seated like narcissism that I have with wanting to like have everyone love me and like hearing myself talk and like seeing my face on camera or something. So there's probably like some weird stuff I should talk to my therapist about, lurking in the background of that. But I think I honestly, like, legit, I didn't even contemplate it, but I used to always watch like college football games, especially, and they would have like the lady commentators of ESPN down on the field doing like the in between the games. And I always was like, ugh, I could do that. Like, I would be good at that. I could do that. I kind of wanted to be like a news anchor too. So that was kind of always like, that stuff was sort of like swirling around in my head as stuff that I thought I would be really good at and also really enjoy. But of course, you can't exactly just be like, hey, I'd like to be the anchor of your evening news. I have no experience or a degree in communications, but I'm really good at it. Trust me. So a lot of that stuff, I don't think ESPN just like lets you walk off the street either. But frankly, ESPN should have like walkout tryouts for like sideline reporters, like they do with players. I'm just putting that, that just came to me. I'm just putting that out there.
Like a draft and all that, you know?
Yeah. Like if you didn't get asked to try out, they have a couple like walk-on spots that you can like try to like walk on the team.
I like
and so
it.
like, why can't you just show up at like ESPN headquarters and be like, hey, cattle call for sideline reporters?
Right.
What? Like, I'm down. I feel like that should be a thing.
Let's do it.
It's only
Let's set it
fair.
up.
Yes. ESPN.
Yeah.
Call me. I got some ideas. So yeah, honestly though, the whole live streaming thing, I mean, at the time, like Scott Golden, like crushing the like live streaming commentary game pretty much from the get-go. He's like an OG of live streaming pickleball, really kind of laid the groundwork, I'd say, for a lot of the other people that are streaming today. And I know he's kind of still doing his streaming, but you know, he's working at Simone's Academy down in Florida, so he's got a real job now, I guess we'll say. So I just sort of legit like doing the guest commentating with him at the US Open just sort of like unlocked this secret avenue for me to sort of put out what I wanted to do and enjoyed doing in like an actual way I could do it. Like this was something, I mean, anybody can do it. So you literally just have your phone or get some equipment, buy a lens, like, and just go live on Facebook. I mean, anybody can do it. So I was like, hey, like I could do this. And I was going to tons of tournaments that Kyle was playing at all over the Midwest, rocking that out. So I was like, hey, I'll just start small, like start live streaming some tournaments I'm already going to be at anyway, because Kyle's playing.
Right.
Like a lot of good players were there as well. A lot of them were sort of like fun invitation only 5-0 tournaments that like Mike Shears puts on in Illinois. Big shout out to the Shearsy. Love him. So just kind of started small and was getting really good feedback from people, and everyone seemed to enjoy it. And then got hooked up with Carl Schmidt at Pro Pickleball, who you guys know as well, and kind of got introduced to him through Ian Moss, who's like my #1 biggest fan out there. Big shout out to Ian. And so got to work with Carl being one of the streamers at Beer City Open and then the Chicago Open this year, which was awesome. And you guys were at Beer City, which was super fun. Got to hang out with you guys. And that just sort of was like the next step. And I'm out here now just kind of, I mean, I'll be honest, I was not invited to stream at the Tournament of Champions. I invited myself to stream at the Tournament of Champions. But sometimes that's what you got to do. Sometimes you just got to like put your foot in the door and be like, nope, excuse me, you're not closing this. I'm coming in. Excuse me. Excuse me. So basically, like, emailed Kyle Klein running the tournament, and I was just like, hey, like, do you have room for another streamer? And he was awesome and was just like, yeah, you know, we can Mafia Pickleballs here as well, and US APA is streaming Center Court all tournament, so they're here as well. So I just am, you know, a big little fish in a big pond here, but it's the biggest tournament I've probably been streaming at. So awesome big matches, and hopefully people are watching and people seem to be enjoying them, and just trying to put my name out there and, take it one step at a time, grind it out.
Yeah, I know. I've been watching. I've been definitely enjoying all the streams you've been doing. And I don't know, let's be honest. I feel like a pickleball tournament just wouldn't be the same without Live with Lauren there streaming it. What do you think, Eddie?
Totally agree. 100%.
Aw, you guys are the best.
We do have...
it's awesome. I love it.
We have a fun little comment here from Shenandoah. She says, when will we see pickleball bloopers? Will that be a show?
Shannon, what a fantastic idea.
Right?
I mean, I definitely was streaming a lot of body bag shots, as I like to call them today. So that could be a fun one. Like every time people get there could just be like a giant running like America's Funniest Home Videos type situation, a bunch of clips of like people just getting like blasted with the ball.
Yeah,
I would watch that.
I would absolutely watch that. Yeah, I'm still editing footage from the Beer City Open, and there's been a few things that I cut out just because I didn't want to embarrass anybody. But I feel like I can make a pretty funny little highlight reel that would fit this this genre, if you will.
I think we should do it.
Yes.
You should 100% do that. I mean, people in pickleball, I feel like, are fairly cool with stuff.
Oh yeah, I think so.
I feel like it's weird. I feel like generally speaking, like 95% of the pickleball community are like real chill and cool, and then there's 5 that are just not.
Yeah.
I'll say.
Right. But like what I'm picturing is like, let's say somebody slips or falls or something, just add some cartoon sound effects, like the little boing or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as long as they didn't actually get hurt in the video, then they're fine.
Or if they do get hurt, like
people run into each other going for a ball.
Yeah. Or if somebody does get hurt, just add like some nice, like really exaggerated bone breaking sounds or like ripping sounds if they like tear something.
I mean, you gotta say, those America's Funniest Home Videos, there were definitely some of those videos where I was like, that guy's dead.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah.
This isn't funny. Like, he's in the hospital in a coma, guys. Mm-hmm. Why are we showing this on television and laughing?
Yep.
Like,
exactly.
Not cool. Not cool.
Yeah. I watch it regularly with my wife and daughters, and like at least 5 times during an episode, one of us are like, yep, dead. Definitely dead.
Yes. It's so true. Why does everyone act like that person just got up and walked away from what just happened? Because it didn't. It'll be like, oh, hey, that kid just like rode a bike off the roof into the pavement with his face. And like, hilarious. Like,
yeah.
No,
and then
he's in the hospital, guys.
Right. And then the live studio audience is always like the most diabolical group ever, because like something like you just described would happen, and they're just like in tears. They're like,
I feel crazy. Like someone's there there's like a giant like applause sign that's fake laughing.
Right.
Everyone's well, we did agree to be here in the audience, and this is what we signed up for.
Right.
They basically like, I don't care what you guys see. You laugh like it's the funniest thing you've ever seen in your whole life, or we will escort you out.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay. They're like, nice. We're not terrified right now.
Yeah.
Well, so we were speaking about the Beer City Open a little bit ago, and that's where I had the pleasure of meeting you for the first time, and that was great. And Eddie, I think we actually have a video clip from one of our recent Beer City Open highlight reels. I believe this was from the Beer City Open Part 2 video that we put out there, and there's a nice little cameo in the video.
That's right, and that's why everybody was probably thinking in their head right now, well, what does Lauren's live stream setup look like? Well, you're about to see in this video that I'm going to roll right now.
It's very sophisticated.
Yeah.
Here's a behind-the-scenes look of what it takes to do live streaming.
And there she was.
Top of the line, equipment, quality. I have a whole team. I have a whole staff that does that setup, guys.
Yeah.
It's really complicated and technical. I can't go into all of it, but there's a lot happening there. It doesn't look like it. I know it looks very simple, but no, a lot's happening.
Well, I do want to tell you, though, that I've seen some live streams and even some in the pickleball world. And it is crazy how an iPhone with a good Wi-Fi connection and good audio can be so much better than some of these other streams that you see come through. So,
well, yeah, honestly, like I look at some of these guys out there that just have like thousands and thousands of dollars worth of equipment that I honestly don't even know what it is. I'm literally like, what is that? Where did you buy that? What is that for? Like, it's so over my head in terms of like all the technology that's available out there. But honestly, like I will talk to John Germstead, does a lot of streaming for the USAPA, does an awesome job. And he has this like, I think it's called a Mophie camera that's awesome. But he said like the amount of like streaming capability that it needs to have like a good feed is so high that it's like a regular Wi-Fi connection doesn't cut it. You have to have like an extra boosted signal thing or it doesn't work. So it's like you can have this amazing equipment, but if you don't have the right setup, it's not going to stream properly and be the best quality. So honestly, I mean, that stuff is awesome when it works, like for sure, like the quality is outstanding. But if like I honestly find with my phone, I can be pretty much anywhere because even if I don't have a good Wi-Fi signal, I just stream off my cellular and that works great. So I feel like while my setup is a bit simpler than most, it's super easy. I can just run around any court that I need to be, like quick throw it up, like get on there, start streaming, and it's awesome. And honestly, huge shout out to Kyle Salenko because he was like, you got to get this lens. It's this wide angle lens. It's for your camera. Like it's awesome. It's called a Moment. It's a Moment lens. They're not that expensive, but they're awesome. So I just literally have this case on my phone. I clip in this lens over the camera thing that allows me to have a way better angle and get like the entire court from a closer angle, which is awesome because a lot of times you can't back up enough with just your iPhone to actually get the whole court.
Right.
And so you end up cutting stuff off and that's terrible. So, a couple $100 and you have your whole setup and that's it. And so that's awesome. So big shout out to Kyle Salenko for telling me to buy a Moment lens, doing the research. He complains I don't give him enough credit for all of his amazing ideas that he tells me to do. So 100% that was his idea. I was like on Amazon just being like, this one looks okay. It's like $30. You just like clip it over your lens and that seems like it's okay, right? And he was like, no. Get this good one. And I was just like, fine. And he was totally right. It's totally right. It's an awesome lens, like does a great job, gets me the angles that I want. So big shout out to Kyle for his amazing ideas.
Now, I am a big advocate for the whole less is more way of thinking. So like I do like a lot of the video stuff that I do for the Eddie and Webby YouTube channel. A lot of times it's just my phone, just my cell phone, and then maybe an attachment for the microphone. And to be honest, a lot of the recordings that I've done for our songs, it's using a microphone that I've had for over 10 years. It's a microphone that came with Karaoke Revolutions for the PlayStation 2. And I'm telling you, it's such a good microphone. It's USB. It plugs into all it still works on all the modern MacBooks and laptops and stuff. And I still use it to this day because it's surprisingly good quality. I mean, I could easily spend hundreds of dollars on like a really, really good microphone, but it's doing its job. So I'm
I know.
very
Why? You don't need to
I'm very big
spend
on
like all
doing
this
things on a
money.
budget.
Absolutely. I mean, if it works, why mess with it?
But I mean, definitely, if you have the great equipment and know how to use it, like the biggest thing with like the really expensive stuff is a lot of it is a lot more complex because there are so many different manual settings and stuff. So if you take the time to learn how to use that stuff, absolutely, that stuff is going to blow everything else out of the water. But yeah,
For sure.
I definitely take the minimal approach. I try to do as much as I can with the least amount of equipment, and for the most part, works out pretty good. And like you were saying, like just a cell phone instead of the major streaming systems sometimes does a better job because, like you said, if there's not a strong Wi-Fi signal, you can't really do much.
Well, and two, I feel like the big thing with pickleball streaming at big tournaments where there's so many good matches going on, tons of courts. If you have a huge setup, you can't go anywhere. You're stuck at one court. You can't be mobile really. And so, I mean, yeah, like USAPA is, locked and loaded on center court here, which is awesome because it's center court. Like, why would you don't need to go anywhere else. Like, all the great matches are going to be there. But there's, of course, tons of other fantastic matches going on all over
Oh
the
yeah,
place that people want to see also. And it's not like you can pack up your mountain of equipment and take it
right.
anywhere. So you really gotta, that's why I think it's awesome and would be sweet for these tournaments to, you can have this big USAPA, set up on center court if you want, but then you really got to employ like the little guys like me who are going to be the reporters in the field, if you will, like running around all the courts covering the other great matches because people want to see those too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and even though a lot of great matches happened on the main court at Beer City Open, to be honest, some of my favorite moments of the whole entire weekend happened off of the main court. And luckily, people like you, Gizmo, people running around and doing live streams on their own, and without that, nobody else is going to see that stuff. So we gotta
Yeah, for sure. And
stuff like
I
that
mean,
happen.
big shout out to me. Not that I produced the point, but I was streaming the match way over on the other side at Beer City that made the rounds on like the forum and whatever of that ridiculous point between, it was like Dave Weinbach, Althoff Merchant, Rick Whitson, and Riley Newman, I think, were the four guys, if I'm not mistaken.
I think Joey Furious
I got one of those
was
wrong.
one of them.
Yes, Joey. Sorry.
Yep.
Yes, I was like, one of those is not right, but I can't remember which one it was. But like, absolutely stupid point. And then it got like clipped. I remember Noah, one of the Paddle Tech guys, like right after the match came over and was like, where is that streaming to? Because I'm going to need that clip of that point. Because everyone just went crazy. It was so good. And that, I mean, that was just one of the side games working its way through the bracket. And I feel like that's kind of, that's how it goes. The same thing today. Like, I was streaming some of the matches off of center court that were just crazy. And there's just so much talent, especially in these giant pro pools, that you're going to have amazing matches early on in the brackets just because there's just too many amazing teams. They're going to meet each other all the way through the bracket. So you want to make sure and catch those games too.
Yep.
For sure. Absolutely. And Gib agrees that was the best point ever.
Yes, Gib.
And then we got a comment here from Rob Noonan. Have I missed the body bagging segment?
Rob, he has been rocking on the live streams all day, which is fantastic. And he is getting a kick out of that I say body bag every time somebody gets hit in the body with a shot, which I will also give a shout out to Kyle for, because I picked that up because his whole group of guys in Wisconsin started saying that. I do not know where they got it. He will have to tell you, but now I've picked that up as well. So I enjoy it.
I always assumed it came from the quote in The Karate Kid when he's like, "Put him in a body bag."
I think it is.
Is that it?
I think you're right. That does sound familiar.
I always just assumed that in my head. So yeah. We'll
I'm not 100%, but that does sound very familiar. And if it's not that, it should be Eddie. So
I agree.
Yes.
There are plenty of quotes from Karate Kid that we should bring into pickleball.
So there's just so many great things everywhere.
Yeah.
There's a awesome no, I'm not going to remember. There's this awesome Chicago sports announcer who like covers all the Chicago sports. I think mostly he does the Bulls, but he um Kyle is going to murder me for not remembering his name. Stacey King.
All right.
Stacey King. So he's like a big Chicago commentator, and he was always commentating during Derrick Rose's like really big run with the Bulls when he was still amazing before he got hurt. And he just like go on YouTube, and all you have to do is Google like Stacey King's best, lines or whatever. And there's all these highlight clips of all these crazy things that he says. And we literally watched his stuff and we wrote down like some of the best stuff that he says that we thought could also apply to pickleball. And I've been trying to work it in where I can. So if you hear me say like fun things that sound like maybe I didn't come up with myself, it's probably from Stacey King.
All right.
I'm just saying.
Got
to borrow good material when you hear it.
Yeah, I agree. Which is actually funny. The first time I did commentary, I watched Morgan Evans do commentary. I was watching videos to prepare for it, and I had written down some of the things he said, but when I say them without the accent, not as cool. It didn't work.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like, you know what? He can say those things and get away with it. I can't.
Yes, Rob, right there. Streaming. So I was streamed with DJ and Morgan earlier today, which was so much fun. That is by far the longest interaction I've had with Morgan Evans, which of course, I mean, I see him around. He's awesome. I've said hey, but that was the longest we've interacted, and he is just a delight. I mean, first of all, he's just like the nicest guy, but anybody with an Aussie accent, I mean, I'm dead. So I'm officially in love with Morgan Evans. As I now have met him and talked to him, which he assured me the feelings were mutual. So I think Kyle will allow it.
All right.
It should be fine. We bonded today over pickleball commentary. And so that is where it will remain.
All right. Well, here's the thing is that, yes, most people, when they meet Morgan, they draw him in through the accent. But you got to stay with Kyle. You want to know why?
Because I love him?
Because you love him, yes. But no, that's not why.
Oh, I'm sorry. Continue.
Why? The reason is because we need more of that No Smoke Pickleball Show. That's why you guys need to keep that going. And that's something I've been so excited to be able to talk with you about tonight. Or talk about with you tonight.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
We're talking about the No Smoke Pickleball Show, which Lauren and Kyle, that's your show. You guys had your first episode 2 weeks. Was it 2 weeks ago today? I think was that.
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds right.
And super excited about it. So many things I want to talk about, but I guess my first question for you is, what made you guys want to start that show? Like, what was it that you're like, you know what, we're going to do a pickleball show?
It was really funny because I was thinking earlier today that you might ask me that, and I was trying to actually think the like real reason we were talking about it. Who just said Kyle has better hair?
Is that Gib? I think he was saying compared to
Gib?
Morgan.
Oh, I was about to be like, Gib, if you are saying that Kyle has better hair than me, I'll fight you. Granted, he is growing it out and it's looking pretty fly right now. So I'm not debating that he does have great hair. Nope. You know what? I'm just going to swallow my pride. Kyle does have better hair than me. So I'm just going to be very vulnerable with you guys right now and put it out there that he does have better hair than me. So.
Okay. It's
we'll
on the
just
record.
Put that aside. Okay, thank you. Okay, yeah. So I think the reason we started talking about it was, so Kyle's a 5-0. I'm a 4-0 on a good day. We play a lot of rec together. We drill a lot together, but obviously we are not at the same level. And I think it was pretty much, we started talking about it as a way that the two of us could kind of do something in the pickleball arena together that didn't come down to like playing, because ultimately we're never going to be able to play in tournaments together really. We're not like, I'm not going to be able to hang with like him and his 5-0s that he is playing rec with and all that stuff, and they do not want me to come play with them, which is fine. I take no offense to that because I cannot hang with them. But I think we just kind of we're talking about, hey, like, what can we do in pickleball that's something we could do together that would be fun? And, obviously, when I think of pickleball podcasts, I think of Eddie and Webby, because you guys, I mean, someone might have had a show before you guys, but I'm not aware of it. You guys are the OGs in my mind when it comes to pickleball podcasting. So we were like, hey, like, Eddie and Webby do this show. Like, it's fun. Like, they're just having a good time. Like, it doesn't have to be anything like we're trying to be all serious and whatever. It's just sort of like, hey, like, if people watch, great. If they don't, whatever. Like, we're just trying to have fun doing something we like and enjoy. And I think that was our original sort of plan that we came up with, why we wanted to do it. And uh, also, complete credit to Kyle. He came up with the name. So he'll also kill me if I do not give him full credit. The No Smoke Pickleball Show was his idea, 100%. So putting that out there. And I think we were just kind of talking about, how we can set ourselves apart, because you never want to just like copy what somebody else is already doing in the same arena. You want to be able to, not compete with somebody else and just sort of make it your own so that it can be, in the same sphere as like your show and the other pickleball shows that people are doing right now, but something that brings like something a little different to the table, a little different uniqueness, not, not better or worse, just different. So I think we were just kind of talking about, what's kind of our style, what do we want to bring to the table. And I think you see it in my commentating. I like to have fun. I like to kind of, be sarcastic and witty and sort of like a dry sense of humor, and really bring some fun stuff to pickleball and not necessarily take it so seriously. So I think we kind of came up with the whole no smoke thing as a way of being like, hey, we're going to maybe talk about some stuff that isn't being talked about in the pickleball world, because I feel like, you see a lot of stuff, you hear a lot of stuff that I feel like people talk about amongst themselves, but it's always kind of like, oh, don't talk about that, or like, oh, let's pretend that's not happening because pickleball is all fun and everyone's great all the time, which isn't necessarily the case. So I feel like our idea was, we're not trying to like put people on blast or like call anybody out. I think our point was, just like any other athlete that puts something out there, like if they do something in a game that's being televised, if they do something in a bar that has security cameras, or they're in front of a crowd, like, people see you. It's not something that happened behind closed doors at your house in a private conversation. Like, it was already on national television. The whole world saw you do it, and so people are going to talk about it. And so I feel like that's all we're trying to do, is take some stuff that people have already witnessed or seen happen or was on a live stream. So like, it's out there, people saw it. It's not a secret that this thing happened. And so we're going to talk about it. And I feel like maybe there's some stuff people don't talk about. So I don't want people to get the wrong impression that we're trying to, make anyone look bad. It's just more, hey, was this appropriate? Or what do people think about this thing that happened? And sort of be a bit of a neutral, just like, reporter on the subject, and just be like, hey, so this thing happened. Everybody saw it happen. What do we think about it? Instead of just pretending it didn't happen, or like, hey, that pro just chucked their paddle into the fence after that game got done, and everyone's just like, ooh, I guess they're not very happy. But like, people, why are you chucking? Like, you're a pro. You're representing a brand. Like, it's pickleball, first of all. Like, you're not on the line for millions of dollars in this match that you just lost. Like, it's like you should still be having fun. And I just feel like sometimes there's behavior that happens, there's stuff that happens in play, there's some really like controversial calls maybe that people make, or things that they trash talk back and forth with each other, that I feel like they're not trying to hide it. Like, they're putting it out there. People are watching. I mean, I wanted, so I could go on. I'll stop my rant right now. But basically, like, our thought was, there's a lot of stuff that happens in pickleball that's maybe, like, we still want to have fun. We want it to be funny. We want it to be, in good humor, and bring a bit of our personality, which tends to be, sarcastic and a little maybe more in your face than some other people try to be. So I think that was kind of our unique spin we wanted to bring to the show. And obviously we've only done one episode so far, but we didn't actually get any negative feedback about it. So I think that was good. I was definitely hoping like nobody took any offense if they were on the show in any capacity, video named or otherwise. So hopefully everyone took it well. But yeah, we didn't hear anything negative. So I feel like that's a good sign. So we're hoping to bring episode 2 in the next couple weeks here once I get back from Utah. And hopefully we'll have some more good stuff.
I'm excited for it because I got to tell you, I loved your first episode. I thought it was hilarious.
Thank you.
And I actually have a video I'm going to play. But first, Webby, it sounds like there's some good stuff on social media here.
Yeah, there was a comment. Before I go to this comment, though, I got to tell you, I also loved your first episode. I love the approach that you guys are taking with it, too. I think it's a great concept. And earlier, you were kind of giving us props. And I got to say, like, really, if anything, what Eddie and Webby show people is that you can do a podcast without having any idea what you're doing, because we still have no idea of what we're doing. I mean, we're learning as we go, but as Lauren, as you saw at the beginning of this episode, we were planning things out minutes before the show started that we hadn't even thought about yet. So
Yep.
That's true, but you got to respect that. I mean, part of it is like, honestly, I feel like one of the great things about pickleball is it doesn't have to be serious. It doesn't have to be, and I mean, maybe one day it'll be on the level with some of the other sports that are out there when it comes to podcasts and shows about it. But it's just people like your show, our show that we're doing. Like, we just want to do it because it's fun. We enjoy doing it. We hope people enjoy watching it. But honestly, like, it's just really like we had such a blast even just doing it. And I feel like you guys probably do too. Like, that's why you do it. Like, you're not, and it's not a situation where we're like, oh, it's we have a news show that thousands of people are tuning into to get their pickleball stories from and figure out. It's just like, yeah, there's like some people with some free time on the internet, and they're just like watching what we're talking about. And maybe after we're done, they'll go back and watch it when they have more time or whatever. And great. Awesome. Hopefully they like some of it.
Nice. I can't wait to see the video that Eddie's going to play. But before we do that, there's another good comment from Rob Noonan. He says, having Gucci as your first guest was a given and best choice. And I agree. He was a great guest for your first show.
Shout out Gucci Zane Navratil.
Yeah. How did that all come to be, like, with him being your first guest?
I think Rob is right. It was probably a given. Kyle and Zane play a lot of tournaments together. They are a fabulous pairing. I think probably they just have they got a special something when they play together, and I feel like Zane's just awesome. We love him. He's a big part of Kyle's crew and the whole Wisconsin scene. He hails out of Racine, Wisconsin. So he's our buddy, but he's also a big rising name in the pickleball world. He's definitely starting to make a name for himself, especially in the singles game. He's just crushing it. Was with Pro Light and recently signed with Onyx, so that's awesome for him. We're super excited, and of course, we wanted to have him on as our first guest because we love him and he's awesome, but he's also like a really great personality in the pickleball world, and I think he sort of has, some of the people in pickleball, honestly, are a little full of themselves when they get to the top levels. And I'm just like, guys, no one outside of pickleball knows who you are. Do you realize that? But that's maybe for another of our pickleball shows in the future. But Zane is just like the nicest guy. Watch him play and he just like great sportsmanship, always, props to his opponents when they have good shots, but he just plays lights out all the time, and he has a pile of shoes he's burned through to prove it. Yeah. And I just think, we obviously know him really well. We have a great relationship with him, and I think he was just a perfect first choice to have a good rapport with that we already had, and we knew we were going to be able to give him a hard time about stuff and just kind of have a real honest discussion. So I think everything worked out for the best.
I agree. And I think he was a great first guest to have for a number of reasons, but I'm going to play a video here in a second. But before we do that, I do think that it was hilarious that you asked him what his favorite smell was. Do you remember what his answer was?
His farts. It was his farts.
Yes. So,
which is hilarious because I know for a fact that he loves the smell of fresh tennis balls because he's a tennis player. And while I hate that smell, I feel like it's a very polarizing smell, fresh tennis balls, but he loves it. And like legit, I feel like he blacked out for a second and couldn't think of a real answer. And so he went with his own farts.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that was a very Zane answer, so I appreciate that he went there and was honest with himself and our viewers.
We appreciate the honesty, Zane. You want to know what else I appreciated about that first episode?
What?
You know what? I'm only going to set the stage here by saying I literally laughed my ass off when I watched this. And so I went today and I edited a little bit of a shortened version of a segment that when I play the video, you probably know exactly what I'm going to be talking about. But
I think I do.
I'm just going to go ahead.
I'm excited.
So this is from episode 1 of the No Smoke Pickleball Show, and I'm just going to have to play it.
Why don't you just go ahead and enjoy this couple minutes, and we'll be back to discuss it after. So, I had the extreme pleasure of being there in person. You did not, because you weren't there. I was actually commentating that match, and so that's me that you can hear, like, giggling. There was a yell, grunt, intensity.
First off, who had the best grunting?
I think.
Who has the best grunt?
I honestly, it's got to go to Witskin.
It's definitely Witskin. Witskin for sure. Like, Witskin for the win.
It's just, it's a whole other level.
laughed
I
so
honestly
hard.
think my favorite part of watching that clip is like hearing myself laughing. Like that's legit. I am laughing at those guys because it was so ridiculous during some of those points. I was just like, what are you guys doing?
What I thought was best is so
and
you were
then
playing
stringing
video,
it all together.
So you were playing video of you doing commentary laughing, and then you could also see in the bottom corner you and Kyle laughing as you're watching it. And then just now we played it and we could hear you laughing in the background because that was so funny. I seriously I watched that segment and I literally was crying. I was laughing so hard just because of it's the ridiculousn's of it, the grunting and and I get it, it happens, but when you look at it from that perspective, it's hilarious. That was classic.
Well, I think that's what like really amped it up because of course like I edited a clip together of the best grunting points. So obviously that wasn't happening every single point of the match, but enough. But then when you like string them all together and it just sounds like the entire time was just like them screaming at each other, so good. It's so good. And we obviously said it on the show. The award goes to Rick Witskin every time because it's not even, I feel like Dave and Altoff have sort of like the classic racket sport grunting where it's in response to either the ball getting hit at you really fast or you swinging really hard, which is what you see in tennis a lot.
Yeah.
But Rick, I feel like just like takes it to another level where he's just like, I'm going to actually try to be ridiculous when I do this and make it as dramatic as I possibly can, which is what makes him extra hilarious. And I think he also adds, you didn't get to see, there was like a tiny bit in a clip, but he also, if you've ever seen him in a live stream or in person playing, when he misses certain points or it's a really crazy point and he can't quite get it or whatever, he'll do like a little dance or like these fun little like physical manifestations of what he's feeling, which are also a treat to witness. So there was one small one in there we kind of did like I can't do it because you can only like see my face. It's like a whole full body situation. But yeah, it was a good time. That was a fun little clip. And it's really funny because I saw Dave for the first time here at this tournament since I see him in a lot of tournaments around the Midwest and stuff, but I hadn't seen him since we did the show. And honestly, zero clue if he's watched it or seen it or anyone said anything about it. But I honestly was like, I hope Dave doesn't hate me or is mad at me because I played that clip of them all being crazy. And I was like texting Kyle and I'm like, I think Dave hates me. I think he saw it and he's pissed because we made fun of them all for grunting. And I honestly think he probably didn't see it and has no idea what we're talking about. And he's, it is what it is. I talked to him later. Everything was cool. We didn't bring it up. If there was a beef, we've squashed it apparently and decided to ignore it.
Squash the beef. All right.
We've moved on.
I like it.
Nice. Yeah, I loved that segment. That was absolutely hilarious. And that's actually a topic I've been wanting to bring up on the show here is excessive grunting. And because I play with some people, they annoy the hell out of me with their grunting. But to be honest, their grunting is nowhere near the level of what happened in that clip that we played. Like that's grunting on a whole different level.
Yeah, I'm not really sure there's anyone else in the game that can top those three. Honestly, like those are my top three. And there was definitely some, like even today, like some of the ladies I know, like Lindsay Newman, Jessie Irvine, they're big racket players as well. And so they were some of the points, even like Simone, but those are pretty minimal. And I think they're only in response to like when you're in a really hard fought point, just like finally trying to put it away, and you're just like, like trying to get it, like put the point away. And so it's just like a crazy, like crushing volley or something. But it wasn't by any means like every shot in a volley. That's, I think, what sets those guys apart is it's like, if we have a 12 like hit rally volley going on, you're going to hear a yell 11 of those 12 shots. Like, that is, no one else does that in the game that I am aware of or have witnessed. So if anyone else out there knows of anybody else in the pickleball world that can come even close to being on those guys' level, I need to know about it, because those guys take the top 3 spots, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a guy that I play with somewhat regularly, and like when he does it, the reason it bothers me is because I always think something's wrong with him. Like he'll hit the ball, and I swear he grunts like maybe 2 seconds after hitting it, to where like it doesn't seem like it's related to the hit. So I'm like, hey, are you okay? But then I realize
are you okay?
I'm supposed to be hitting the ball that he just hit back at me. So I don't know if it's like a weird strategy of his or what, but yeah, it really bugs me.
Yeah, that's something else. That would be crazy. I think, honestly, and I kind of mentioned it also on the show, my issue, like, I just thought those guys were hilarious. That to me was just funny. And I did mention it, and I hesitate to say it again because I hesitated to do it on our show, but the only time it really crosses the line for me is when it starts to sound sexual in nature.
Yeah.
I think that's when people are most uncomfortable. And I find that tends to be the case with a lot of the top female tennis players, like on the circuit. So of course not any of the ladies in pickleball that I'm aware of. But yeah, there's definitely some tennis pros on the tour that are crossing that line on a regular basis, and I'm like, I can't watch this. I don't know what's happening with you, and it's making me very uncomfortable.
You brought one up on your show, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maria Sharapova. She needs to see somebody about that, because it's like a medical issue at this point, I'm pretty sure. It's like completely 100% unnecessary in every sense. And yeah, just that sound that she makes I can't get, I mean, everyone knows what I'm talking about. Everyone's heard Maria Sharapova scream on the tennis court and are like, well, I'm going to have to turn this off because someone's going to think I'm watching something I'm not. So there's that. But don't worry, pickleball ladies, none of you have I heard come even close to anything resembling that. So I think so far the pickleball world is safe.
You've passed the Lauren female grunt test, and you guys are good.
I have, yes. Okay. And trust me, I will call that out immediately if I hear it. I'll just be like, what's going on over there? What's happening? Why are you making that noise?
Right, getting a little sexual on that court, guys. Let's tone that down.
Getting a little too something's happening.
Yeah.
People are gonna think something else. Is that great. Rob? Is that Rob who said that's why he stopped watching tennis? Yeah. Yep. I mean, you can't be watching tennis in the next room and you're afraid your significant other is gonna like walk in and be like, "What are you watching?
What do you have on TV right now?"
What is tennis, that? I swear. Why did you turn that off? Yeah. You're like, it's the women's U.S. Open tennis. Jeez. I promise.
That's great. I bet you it's happened before. Man. I bet you $1 million that has happened before.
100%. 100%.
Angry wife walked in. What are you watching? It's tennis, I swear.
And they're like, no, seriously, it's tennis. And they like look at it and they're like, okay. So fair enough. Still turn that off because now I'm uncomfortable.
Right. That's great.
So Lauren, I have a surprise guest here with me right now that you might be a fan of. And this is cat number 2. Jack the cat is here.
I literally was going to say, is it a kitty? Yay. oh, is it as fat as it looks?
He's very fat. He's my own personal Garfield.
Oh my gosh, you have 2 kitties? Are there more kitties or just the 2?
That's it, just the 2. Just the 2.
Oh, I see the other one sitting next to you.
Zelda's right there.
Is she co-host? She's co-hosting.
Jack is hiding. Yes.
Oh.
Well,
I miss
Eddie
my
knows I
kitty.
used to have to lock her up during podcast time because she would chew on the mic and like rub on the mic stand and try to knock it over during the show. So, but she's gotten a lot better. And
ripped cords out.
Yep,
she
cats,
loves.
They just don't care. They do not care.
Yeah.
They'll be like, I am going to be all up in your business right now. Try and stop me.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Always like when the cats come and visit.
Oh,
you know what's funny? Actually,
the
so
whole time.
Quick question for you. And I know it's getting late, but when I was going through to find a picture for the thumbnail today of the video, I saw you and Kyle with a golden retriever down here in Naples when you were down here for the U.S. Open. First of all, whose dog is that? Because I need to go hang out with him.
I know. What was her name? I think it's, did I say on the picture? Lucy? No, it's not Lucy.
No.
It might be. Is my mom still watching? Mom, what's the name of that dog? I think it's like Lucy.
Lucy, okay.
Oh, she's my favorite. She is one of like the people that live in my parents' community.
Okay.
And legit, every time I go there, my mom will literally call this lady and be like, my daughter's in town. Can she come see the dog? Because legit, I rock that golf cart over to their house and I'm like, hey, I'm just here for the dog. She lets me take the dog. She loves golf cart rides. So she just like gets up in the golf cart. We tool around the community and she is the best doggy ever. We used to have a golden retriever. So I have a very special soft spot in my heart for Goldens. Hope to get another one in the near future, but they're just like my absolute favorite and I love her. And she has like crimped hair behind her ears, which a lot of Goldens do. And it looks like she just got a hold of like a crimper from the 80s and like crimped her hair, but it's natural. And she has like the best hair ever. And she's so soft. And I feel like she always just had a bath. And I just want to like hug her and love her forever, but then I have to go return her. But she's there every time I go visit.
Well, Goldens are the best. We have a golden retriever.
Where is it, Eddie?
So she already put herself to bed. She likes to go to bed at like 9 every day because she wakes up around like 5:15 with us. So she
has a schedule.
Oh, this dog is like on a routine. She like wakes up. She's like, all right, guys, 3-mile walk. We take her on a 3-mile walk every morning. And it's like,
oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's no joke.
And Eddie, be honest, isn't 9 o'clock when you like to put yourself to bed too?
9 o'clock.
I know. I was like, that's Eddie's bed.
Yeah. That's like a Naples
question
rule.
for you guys.
Yeah.
So you mentioned in the beginning, so you have this like after hours situation that you guys do on your podcast here.
We do.
So I'm slightly confused. What is the difference between that and your regular podcast?
Well, our regular podcast is a little bit more like a
structured format,
if you will. Yeah, structured.
Okay. I got
We
you.
try and take notes. We try and like have certain topics we want to talk about. We usually line up a guest. It's a little bit more planned out. Dinking around is just like we have
just
a
like
few
a free
ideas
for all,
and we just see where it goes. We don't watch our language as much. We like to keep this one kind of PG 13-ish. We let that one
I was
go
literally going to
bit.
say, is this like a put the kids to bed? It's time for like the adults only after hours show.
I mean, we don't
where we like take it up a notch.
We
do
take it up a notch. Yeah, we do
take it up a notch.
Yeah.
And Eddie, to try and get our ratings up on that show because they haven't been the greatest lately. We'll just say yes. Like we get so extreme on that show, you won't believe your eyes when you see what goes on.
Yeah.
It's
like
craziness,
the stuff coming out of your mouths. You'll be like, is this the same guys? Like I thought they were so like clean and professional.
Man.
What's really funny
super
is
fun because we really don't have
you go.
really anything
go,
planned. Like okay, I'll go. But yeah, we really, for the Dinking Around show, we have hardly anything planned that we do. And we just, we just BS with each other, and then when we're done talking, then we end the show.
Yep.
Love it. Speaking of the rating system, when Kyle and I were discussing our No Smoke Pickleball show, we kind of were like, so do we want to keep this pretty PG-13 at the most? Because obviously, you want everybody to be able to watch it. You don't want to, offend people. You don't know where people are coming from. And so we didn't really want to swear a whole lot. I think we kind of were like, the usual, like, we can say maybe like hell and ass, but outside of that, maybe keep it pretty to a minimum. And we were discussing how it's really funny because PG-13 movies, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, they're allowed one F word.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like every PG-13 movie can drop one F-bomb, and they got to strategically use it where they want. And trust me, they always use it. But I always find it hilarious when I'm watching a PG-13 movie to be like, where are they going to use that F word? And how are they going to use it? Because sometimes it's just like, oh, wait, we still got to throw an F word in here somewhere. Like, just say it. And it's like totally random and has nothing to do with anything.
Would you pull
not
up the
in
effing
context
van?
or just
Come on.
like, I know, like,
yeah.
It's just like randomly like F.
Right. Yeah.
I can't believe this or whatever. And you're just sort of like, what? And it was really funny because I told Kyle, I was like, Kyle, I was like, you can't swear. And he was like, what? I thought we said PG-13. I get one F word. And I was like, no, we were just joking around. Don't say it. Don't do it. So I feel like we kept it pretty clean. We tried to be a little racy in our topics, but keep the language pretty PG. I thought we did a pretty good job.
All right. Yeah. And speaking of Kyle, it looks like he's actually tuning in now.
What? He said, Babe, did you hear that I gave you credit for so much stuff? Eddie and Webby, please confirm how much stuff that I gave Kyle credit for.
Oh, first of all,
my God,
she
live on this show.
Yeah.
Kyle, she said that you have better hair than her.
Yes.
She gave you credit for the name of your amazing pickleball show. What else, Webby? What else are we missing here?
The camera
honestly,
lens on my phone.
She just.
Oh yeah.
I feel like she just wouldn't shut up about Kyle. It was getting kind of annoying.
Yep.
It really is.
Just kidding.
It really is.
That's good stuff.
I'm glad he's done playing pickleball and could make time for us finally.
Yeah, Kyle.
Either that, or maybe he was checking his phone and like accidentally clicked on the notification that we were live.
That's probably also true. It's probably about his bedtime too.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second. We got a message from Kyle. There it is. I'll have to review the tape, he says.
He never believes me. He just thinks I'm lying about the fact that I say nice things about him. It's so rude.
Interesting. My inner psychologist wants to go deep into this topic here. Find out.
Who does? What?
Yeah, find out where that's coming from, where that stems from.
Oh.
Yeah.
Probably is connected to my narcissism that we talked about earlier.
The extreme narcissism.
That is true.
Yes. Well, anything else going on?
Did anyone else have fun comments, Webby?
That was the best one at the moment. I've been kind of just showing the best ones because sometimes
because everyone else sucks.
Sometimes there's some sucky comments out there that are just pointless and don't even need to be said, so we don't even waste our time on those.
Do people say mean things?
We've had a few, yeah.
Like that they're actually being mean? Like we're not just joking around, like we're trying to be a mean person on the internet because that's just so cool these days.
What Webby, what was the one we just got on Pickleball Anthem?
Somebody just left a comment on the Pickleball Anthem and all it said was lame. That was their comment. Lame. Can you believe that? How hurtful is that?
I mean, how lame is it to just leave a comment that says lame?
Yeah.
Like,
right?
You're literally broadcasting that you're a lame person yourself because you have so little creativity that you can't even come up with like a good like dig at somebody.
Yeah. But to be honest, there was one comment recently that did kind of got to me just because, like, for the most part, I feel like I have pretty thick skin. Like, things don't really get to me. Like, people can say pretty much anything and it doesn't bother me. But somebody called me out for calling you the wrong name on when I was trying to promote the No Smoke Pickleball Show. I cracked under the pressure and I butchered your name, and somebody left a comment calling out how I butchered your name. So now that's out there for everybody to see.
People, don't be mean to Webby. I didn't mind. I know he knows what my name is. It happens.
This is a live.
People.
Well, yeah. I mean, people don't realize this. Lauren and I, we go way back. I mean, we met at the 2019 Beer City Open, for crying out loud. That was what, like almost 2 months ago?
2 months ago. Yeah. Like, how dare people not think that we are just the deepest and bestest of friends?
Yes, we are definitely on a first and last name basis. And just because I said them wrong, it doesn't mean anything.
I mean, I've had people calling me Laura pretty much like this entire tournament randomly at different places. So I'm just sort of like, oh, it's Lauren. Like, no big deal. Like, it happens, whatever. Like, clearly you didn't care enough to learn what my name was the first time, but that's fine.
It was definitely a first for me, though, because I practiced your name beforehand because, like, okay, McLaughlin, and then I say Lauren McLaughlin, and then I was like, oh no, it's Laura McLaughlin, and I was like, oh no, Laura, what am I doing here? This is craziness.
It's just like, no.
People don't realize how hard it is to do live broadcasting and say names.
That's true, and I mean, mine's not a super complicated name, but honestly, that is not what I would call butchering my name. So I feel like there's way worse, and that's not even remotely that bad. And there are definitely, I mean, I listen to these pickleball announcers at the tournaments just butcher all these players' names all day, every day. And I'm just like,
the U.S. Open, I mean, I laughed every time Martina Coakley's name, it was like Martina Cochilli, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, how, first of all, learn these pros' names, guys. Like, come on.
Yeah, like, just ask somebody if you don't know. Like, somebody's got to know what their name is, right? Well, it was really funny because, so mine and everyone's good friend, Cassandra Gerke, was, she's playing at the tournament here, and we were just hanging out, and the guy was saying, he was just saying Gurk. Like, he was just saying Cassandra Gurk. And I was like, And I feel like someone probably corrected him eventually because he said it right the third time I heard it or whatever. But I mean, I get it. You don't know necessarily how to pronounce some of these names. But again, ask somebody, people.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if I'm going
to the more you know.
Right. If I would at least do some research. It would, especially if it's a top pro, right? I mean, you should probably know that Tyson McGuffin isn't Tyson McMuffin. It just that should be known. Like,
ooh, do you know what I'm just thinking now, my favorite name butchering was actually at the US Open. So you guys probably know Jim and Yvonne Hackenberg. Huge pickleball names out of Michigan. They run the Kalamazoo tournament. Awesome, players, top of their games for their age bracket, like do amazing stuff in pickleball. So they definitely said Jim Hackenberger at the US Open. And that was like my favorite thing I heard the entire week. And so then I just started calling him Hackenberger like the rest of the week. So loved that. That was my favorite one. I was just like, why are we just adding letters into people's names? Like, what's happening here?
Yeah, they were saying,
but Joey, I get it. I mean,
Joey Ferraras. They were saying Joey Ferraras. I heard that a lot. I feel like the U.S. Open was.
Joey got interviewed by Telemundo.
Seriously?
At the tournament. Yeah. So, I mean, I personally do not watch Telemundo because white girl. But Joey was totally on Telemundo, and I was like, oh, Joey. And they were all just, doing a little sweet interview in Spanish over there and rocking it. And I think that was awesome. So I think that's great exposure for Joey to show, all different people and cultures and all that good stuff are rocking this pickleball. And, there's obviously the the French Open and the Spanish Open, I think, are going on, the English Open. So there's all these like European tournaments going on right now, which is awesome. And I know they were talking today about some of the people that are brought pickleball over to Asia, like China, Japan. It's just all over the world. I love it. Like, it's so great that, there's definitely some sports that do not cross the ocean very well. I'd say, obviously we have soccer in America, but soccer in Europe is a different beast. So I feel like definitely some sports do not translate. Obviously, football in our country translates to nowhere else, basically. Right. Yep. No one else plays American football. So I feel like it's awesome that pickleball is one of those sports that you can play anywhere in the world. Like, anyone can love it, play it, and it's definitely spreading all over the world. So it's awesome to see everybody in. All those kids playing ping pong over in Asia, put a pickleball paddle in their hand, they're just going to be unstoppable. Oh, so yeah. I'm you watch those clips of them playing ping pong, and I seriously still watch every single one of those ping pong clips, and I'm like, that's not real. Yeah. This is a fake video. That ball's not actually there. Someone edited it in. It's photoshopped. That's not a real thing that's happening right now, because physics and reality don't make sense in what I'm watching right now.
Yeah, and they're 5.
Craziness.
5 years old.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's insane. And then crazy. Who put that clip? Someone just put a clip, I feel like, on the forum of, it was a little ping pong looking table, but these dudes, it was like a soccer ball, and they were hitting it with their heads, in Germany or something. Yeah. I was like, what am I watching right now, people? This is insane.
I've also seen that where they hit it with their feet. They have to juggle the soccer ball onto a ping pong table using their feet. It's crazy. The sports that are out there, it's there's so many things that we are not exposed to at all in America. That who knows, maybe how we feel about
we're
pickleball,
very sheltered.
Yeah, maybe somewhere else they have a sport where they feel just as passionate about it. So,
speaking of ping pong,
for sure.
Anybody that listened to one of our recent episodes, Lee and Annalie Waters revealed that Ben Johns is so good at ping pong that he has been known to beat people using his cell phone or a spoon. So I challenged Ben to a ping pong match where I get to use a paddle and he uses a spoon, and he accepted. He accepted my challenge, except he said he's going to start with a coaster first. He's going to use a drink coaster, and then if he beats me badly, then he will move on to a spoon.
How do you feel about your ping pong skills, Webby?
I would say I'm average. So, I think if he uses a spoon, I definitely have a chance. I feel like if he uses a coaster, a drink coaster, I'll have my work cut out for me, but I think I could hold my own against somebody using a coaster.
Because I feel like I maybe have some misplaced confidence in that if I played Ben Johns in ping pong and he was using a spoon, I would crush him. Absolutely crush him. And I feel like maybe that doesn't actually happen, but I just feel like how can you be so good at ping pong that you could beat somebody with a spoon? It's not the same thing. And Ben Johns is very good at pickleball, and I'm sure he is very good at ping pong, and I'm sure with a paddle, hi kitty, I'm sure with a paddle he would just cream everybody. But a spoon? Come on, man.
Well, yeah,
I just feel I heard that out, it's too much. That's too much.
Yeah,
you've crossed the line now. I don't believe you.
Yeah, when I heard that, I even said, were you there in person? Because I don't believe that Ben Johns is good enough to beat anybody with a spoon. So that's why, numerous people commented and said it was true. So I was like, I got to see this in person. So I challenged him. So I don't know.
I'm
We'll see. We'll see what
100%
happens.
going to be confronting Ben Johns tomorrow at the tournament about this knowledge, and I will make sure and get back to you about what he says.
Nice. Or you should challenge him, and then I'll see if I can do better than you did against him.
Ooh.
Using a spoon
How
or
about
a
we
drink
do
coaster.
a situation where it's like when you guys played against Kyle Yates together, but we can play against Ben Johns together in ping pong, and he still has to use a spoon.
All right, I'd be down with that.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I will take that.
I am down. Count me in. And
Yeah,
John
see?
Bloom says
John Bloom.
urban legend dish.
Yep. I agree.
That's
I think
exactly
it's
how
one
I
of those
feel about
things
it,
that
too.
like somebody was probably like played Ben. He's absolutely amazing, which again, I do not doubt if we're just talking straight ping pong. But then they were like, oh, I bet like he's probably so good with this. And then someone tried to up that by being like, oh, I bet it's this. And then someone like finally landed on a spoon. And it was just like a situation where everybody was just like, oh, what about this? What about this? What about this? And now people are out there in the streets saying Ben Johns can kick your ass in ping pong with a spoon. And I
Right?
feel like it's not real. It's not real. That didn't happen. That's like the ghost in the woods story that isn't real.
Yeah, and somebody probably was so passionate when telling the story to their friend that their friend was like, yeah, I was totally there too. Like, I can just see it. I was there. He did it.
Yeah, it must be true. You sound
I'm not buying
very
it, Ben.
convinced. I'm
I'm
not
not
buying
buying
it
it,
either,
Ben.
Ben, and I'm gonna get in his face about it tomorrow.
Nice. You should
Yep.
live stream that. Confront him with the cameras rolling, and
It's gonna be like a reality show where you just like roll up on someone real hot with a camera in their face, and they're just like, "Answer me."
Or like when people go to protest now and they're recording each other, and you're like, I'm right, you're wrong, and like, I'm right, you're wrong, and it's like, oh my, you guys are, stop it.
Don't get me started, Eddie.
Stop it.
Like I could feel a rant coming on right now when you're talking about that.
You're right. I get it. I get
it's too late. It's too late for that.
Too late at night.
Oh. Deep breaths. Deep breaths.
Oh. Well, Lauren, this has been a ton of fun.
Thank you so much for having me.
I want to give you an opportunity, though, because you have so many amazing things going on. And this is pickleball, which means we're already this tiny little community, right? We're this little community. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's even hard to get access to 30% of everybody in this community right now. So if we all work together to help support each other, then it's ultimately going to benefit everyone because it's just going to be more exposure to the sport that we love. So anyway, I want to give you the opportunity to tell everybody how they can follow you and all the amazing stuff that you have going on.
Awesome. So I feel like you're giving me a little too much credit. I mean, I got some stuff going on, but you know, I got some room for some more stuff is what I'm saying.
Good.
But I agree. I feel like it's really funny because guaranteed like 90% of the people that watch this show at some point are going to be like, I have no idea who that girl is. Like, she seems cool enough, but I've never heard of her. I've never seen her. I've never listened to her, because it's true. Like, everyone, like the pickleball community is small in one sense, but at the same time, you know, spread out all over the country. A lot of people don't travel all over the country, don't know people from different regions because you never see them at tournaments, you never cross paths, on and on, or everywhere. You just sort of, exactly. Yeah. So I have a Facebook page called Live with Lauren, which I'm sure you guys linked to in this video before in the intro, so people can just go there. And if you follow my page, you can see when I'm live streaming or when we do the next episode of the No Smoke Pickleball Show, me and Kyle. And that's pretty much it. I feel like I'm a pretty simple, uncomplicated girl to follow on social media. You can obviously friend me just on Facebook if you want, because you're like, oh, she seems fun. Let's be Facebook friends. But otherwise, pretty much at this point, Live with Lauren is where everything is rocking in terms of live streaming. I, again, am at Tournament of Champions in Brigham City, Utah this week. And I've been streaming all week, so definitely check out my page if you want to check out some of my streams, and feel free to watch any of the previous ones that I've done, or check out our first episode of the No Smoke Pickleball Show if you've been your interest has been piqued through talking about it on this show. And that's basically it. I don't have any other tournaments past this one to speak of yet that I'm going to be at, but I will definitely post it on my page if I am going to be at any. So we're just out here grinding in the streets, and we'll see what happens.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on. That was seriously a good time.
Thank you, guys.
Guys, go check out Live with Lauren. Go check out the No Smoke Pickleball Show. I guarantee you're not going to be disappointed. And just keep crushing it. Keep crushing it, Lauren.
Thanks so much, guys. You're the best. I love you guys. Thanks so much for having me on. And you guys keep crushing it.
Yeah. Thank you, Lauren.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see ya.
All right. See ya.
Bye. Ah, another great guest, huh?
Oh, yeah. Awesome. It was awesome talking to Lauren. Man, that was a fun night.
Super fun. Seriously, though, and I know that, you know, we're not just saying that because she was a guest on our show. I love her commentary. I think she brings such a unique and just like I think I said this before. It's almost like a very soothing tone, but it's also like this bit of sarcasm that she has with it too, that it cracks me up. So I thoroughly enjoy her commentary.
Yes, I agree. And John Bloom says, thanks, Eddie and Webby, for introducing me to Lauren. Cool gal. I could not agree more. She's very cool. And yeah, like you said, I totally agree with what you said about she's got that very soothing voice. But yeah, she's got some grittiness to her. She's awesome. Very cool.
Super cool. Wow. Well, that was, man, we're almost at 2 hours. We're at an hour and 50 minutes right now.
Oh my God.
Insane.
That flew by. I cannot believe it's been almost 2 hours already. Holy jeez.
I agree. But the night's not over yet, guys, because as I mentioned before, we're going to be ending this show very shortly, but don't go anywhere because we're going to be coming right back with another episode of Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby. And we have some good stuff we're going to be talking about tonight, aren't we?
Oh, yeah. We got some great stuff to talk about. We got something to show everybody. And there's a rumor on the street that we might actually have a guest tonight. We haven't had a guest in a while on Dinking Around. Somebody might actually join us on Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby tonight.
Interesting. I wonder who it's going to be.
Only one way to find out.
That's right. Well, anything else you want to talk about for the podcast tonight, Webby?
No, I think I'm good. That's the awesome night. Super fun. And that was great stuff.
That's right. Well, guys, this has been episode 49, which means there are 49 of you out there that are still watching. And guess what? We love you. We love you to bits.
That's right. We do.
Thank you so much for tuning in. On that note, I'm Eddie.
And until next time, this is Webby, not Eddie, signing off.
See ya.